Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today we're going deep on something that honestly feels kind of radical in our world of, sharing everything. It's the power of privacy.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we're looking at this podcast episode. It's called Be Private, the Secret to True Happiness. And it really makes you rethink how to, live a good life. What if, and this is kind of wild, what if holding back, not sharing everything is actually the key?
It is a really different way to think about things.
Right. And this episode, it breaks it down into three areas of life where privacy could be super powerful.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
All right. So first up is travel. Now, I love sharing travel pics. Who doesn't? But this episode, it argues that when you share those adventures too soon, it can actually cheapen them, make them less meaningful for you.
I think I see where this is going. It's like you're letting everyone else's opinions in before you've even had a chance to process the experience yourself.
Yes, exactly. And there's this thing, it's called anticipatory socialization, where you basically start experiencing things through the lens of how you'll share them. Kind of takes you out of the moment.
Totally. Like you're already thinking about the caption instead of just enjoying the view.
Right. It's wild that the episode gives this example. Imagine you're on this amazing trip, but you haven't posted a single thing online. You're just sucking it all in, making those memories totally yours, no pressure to impress anyone.
You're creating that space to really savor it. No performance necessary. It's like getting back to that childlike wonder that can get lost when we're worried about what others think.
Totally. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so next up, relationships. This one really surprised me. The episode says the happiest couples are often the ones who keep their love life mostly private. Now, I can see how too much outside influence could be bad, but what are your thoughts on that?
I actually think there's a lot of truth to that, especially when a relationship is new, it's delicate, and if you're always putting it out there, getting everyone's opinions, it just adds so much pressure and doubt.
It's like you're inviting everyone to weigh in on something that's deeply personal.
Exactly. And even if people mean well, their comments can sometimes make you question things, especially early on when you two are still figuring things out.
Oh, for sure. It's like when someone makes a little comment about your partner and then suddenly you're rethinking everything. It's almost as if those outside voices are writing the story of your relationship instead of you two.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. By keeping things private at first, you're giving the relationship space to grow, without all that noise. You build a foundation based on your own connection, not what other people think.
It's about protecting that space for real connection and growth. No pressure to perform or compare yourselves to others.
Right. It's not about hiding completely, but being smart about what you share and who you share it with. It's finding that balance, keeping things private, but also sharing your joy with the people who genuinely support you.
I love that. It's about being mindful. Okay, so we've got travel, relationships, and now, for maybe the most interesting one, happiness itself. The episode says that if you share your happiness too much, it can actually make it, weaker.
Whoa, that's a bold statement.
Right, it really got my attention. What do you make of that?
So this is where the episode gets into some really interesting psychology. Basically, it says that when we share our happiness too widely, we're opening ourselves up to negative energy, whether it's jealousy or judgment, or even just a lack of real enthusiasm from others. That can actually take away from our own joy.
Oh man, I've totally been there, sharing good news and getting a kind of flat reaction. It definitely takes the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, exactly. It's because not everyone can truly be happy for others. Sometimes even good people might downplay our wins, even if they don't mean to. It's just human nature, unfortunately.
So it's about being picky with who we share those happy moments with, people who will truly celebrate with us.
Yeah, creating a safe space where you can really be happy, surrounded by people who genuinely care. Sharing your joy with those people can actually make it even stronger.
Okay, this is all making a lot of sense. So we've got travel, relationships, even happiness itself. What's sticking out to you so far? Anything surprising?
What I find so interesting is how this episode reframes privacy. It's not about being secretive, it's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that privacy can actually help us build deeper connections, both with ourselves and with others. And in a world where we're constantly pushed to share everything, that's a powerful message.
It is. It's like taking back control, choosing what matters to us. This is really making me think about how we can use these ideas in our own lives.
Me too. There's so much to unpack here.
It's like we're almost afraid to show the messier parts of our lives. We got to keep up this perfect image.
Yeah, it's all about the highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
But that's, I think, where privacy becomes really important. It gives us that space to, just be ourselves, work through things without feeling like we have to put on a show.
Totally. It's like permission to be human, right?
Right.
You can have doubts, make mistakes, even fail, and it's okay. You don't have to broadcast it to the whole world.
Exactly. And when you allow yourself that privacy, you can actually learn and grow from those experiences, way more than if you're trying to pretend everything's perfect.
This episode has really gotten me thinking about how I can bring more privacy into my own life. It almost feels like, I don't know, like a form of self-care. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like taking a step back from the need to constantly share and just being present in your own experience.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some things we can actually do? Like, how can we reclaim that sense of privacy?
Well, I think the first step is to just become more aware of our online habits. Do we really need to share every single detail of our day, every meal, every random thought? It might be helpful to ask ourselves, like, why are we sharing this? Is it for connection, or are we looking for validation or attention?
It's a good question. I know sometimes I post things just hoping for a reaction, even if it's not something that really matters to me.
It's so easy to fall into that trap, especially with social media. But what if we, shifted our focus inward? What if we prioritized our own well-being, instead of worrying about what other people think?
That feels, I don't know, almost freeing,
Yeah.
like taking back control. But how do we do that? How do we break out of that need for validation?
It's not easy, but it's definitely possible. One thing you can try is to be more intentional about how you use social media. Instead of just scrolling mindlessly, you can set some limits on your screen time. You can choose to follow accounts that inspire you and maybe unfollow those that make you feel bad or make you compare yourself to others.
That makes sense. It's like being careful about what you let into your digital space.
Exactly. It's about creating a space that feels good to be in. And you can also be more thoughtful about what you choose to share. Do we really have to post about every single thing that happens in our lives? Or can we keep some things sacred and private? Maybe it's something you're struggling with, a new relationship, a creative project you're working on.
It's like protecting those parts of yourself that feel, I don't know, delicate, so they can grow without being exposed to everyone's opinions.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that might mean having some tough conversations with friends and family about boundaries. It's okay to say, I don't feel comfortable sharing that right now, or I prefer to keep this private.
It's about taking ownership, right?
Yeah.
Deciding what you're comfortable with. And I think that's so important. It's about recognizing that your personal space is valuable and it's okay to protect it.
It really is. And, this doesn't mean you have to become a hermit. It's just about finding a balance. You can be connected and still have privacy. It's about finding what feels right for you.
I think that's really reassuring because sometimes it feels like we have to be so open and share everything. And if we don't, there's something wrong with us. But this is like a reminder that it's okay to do things your own way.
Absolutely. And, another important aspect of privacy is solitude. It's so easy to get caught up in the constant noise and distractions of the world. But taking time for yourself, whether it's meditating, going for walks in nature, or even just turning off your phone for a while, can be incredibly beneficial. It allows you to, reconnect with yourself, process your emotions, and get clarity on what's important to you.
It's like giving your mind a break, a chance to just breathe.
Right. And when you take care of yourself like that, when you're grounded in yourself, you're less likely to look for validation from other people. You feel more confident, more resilient.
So it's not just about feeling good, it's about being stronger, more in control of your life. And I think that connects back to boundaries, which, in this hyper-connected world, boundaries can be hard. There's this pressure to always be available, always respond, always be on.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And setting boundaries is really what privacy is all about. It's deciding what you're comfortable with, who you share things with, and being strong enough to protect your personal space. You don't have to explain yourself.
It's like creating this safe space for yourself where you can just be you without worrying about what other people think. And in a world where everyone's trying to get our attention, that feels really powerful.
It is powerful. It's about taking care of yourself, knowing your worth. So as we wrap up this part of our conversation, what's really standing out to you? What about privacy feels most important to you in your own life?
It's funny, right? We talk about privacy and being alone with our thoughts, but then we spend so much time trying to show everyone this perfect version of ourselves.
It's true. It's like we're all obsessed with creating these highlight reels, only the best, most Instagrammable moments.
Yeah, exactly. But then are we missing out on the real stuff, the good and the bad, all of it.
I think that's exactly where the power of privacy comes in. It lets us be human, We can experience all those emotions, the ups and the downs, without having to pretend everything's perfect.
It's like we're giving ourselves permission to be vulnerable, to mess up, to learn, and we don't have to worry about what everyone else is thinking.
Right, and I think when we embrace those imperfections, when we let ourselves be seen, warts and all, that's how we connect with people on a deeper level. It's real.
It's about letting go of that need to control how people see us and just being ourselves, messy as that might be.
Exactly, and people can feel that authenticity. It's what makes a connection real.
This whole conversation has really changed how I think about privacy. It's not about hiding, it's about choosing. Choosing what we share, who we share it with. It's about creating a safe space for ourselves and the people we care about so we can all just be ourselves.
Yeah, and when you have that safety, that trust, you can build so much stronger relationships. You can let go of your defenses and really connect, heart to heart.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive on privacy, any final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with? What really stuck with you?
I think the biggest takeaway is that privacy isn't a luxury. It's something we all need. It's important for our well-being, for our relationships, for how we see ourselves.
It's about having control, right? Choosing what we share, setting boundaries, protecting what's important to us.
And remembering that real happiness, that feeling of being fulfilled, it comes from within. It comes from having a strong connection with ourselves and the people we love.
It's about finding that balance, being connected, but also having time alone, sharing, but also keeping some things just for us.
So I want to encourage everyone listening. Think about what privacy means to you. Where can you create more space for yourself to just be? Where can you set boundaries to protect your time and energy?
Yeah. What feels really special to you, something you want to keep private, and how can you connect more deeply with yourself and the people you love?
Remember, privacy isn't about shutting people out. It's about taking care of yourself, creating a space where you can really thrive.
This has been such a great conversation. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into privacy. We hope you learned some new things and that you're inspired to create a life that feels more authentic, more you.
Absolutely. And until next time, take care of yourselves and remember to cherish those moments that truly matter.